This is the Minnesota Youth Alive podcast, where we talk about empowering the church to reach students at their school and in their community. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Hey guys, welcome to the Minnesota Youth Alive podcast. I am here. It is June. We're recording a little late because we have 3 seniors with us. And my dream was to sit down with 3 seniors, pick their brains, and see what you guys have learned. Here's some stories, some good, some bad, some funny stories from you guys of what has happened throughout your time as middle school and senior hires. But I want to sit down with you guys. Our podcast is coming out late because how many of you guys know the end of the year is crazy? How have your guys' years been like so far in the last 3 weeks? What has it been like for you? One word, Enoch.
Stressful.
Okay, Caden?
A lot. I don't know. That's 2 words, but it's been a lot.
I love he's like, doesn't even have a word. Okay, Lauren, what about you?
Chaotic.
For
sure.
Yes, wrapping it up. Has it been weird to say goodbye to high school?
I think it has been really weird because it's what we've known for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's just like what we've known. But I think at a certain point, you get to a point where you're like, I think I'm ready for the next season.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a little scared, a little nervous. But
Yeah.
I'm excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was it like walking out of the school building for the last time? Who did that?
It doesn't feel like it's real.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like
I
I'm
feel
done.
I feel like I'm just living High School Musical. Like I'm living the movie. Like it's not real.
I told Lauren, I woke up this morning, I thought I had to go to school. That's why I was up so early.
Oh, I know. We were on our way home from a vacation or mini vacation this weekend, and I was like, guys, I just realized you don't have to go to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh. And so summer is here. Okay, so I have Caden St. John, Enoch Morales, and Lauren Feltman with me. I want you guys to just give the students or people listening just a little glimpse of who you each are. Okay, Lauren, we're going to start with you.
Okay. I'm Lauren, and I went to Sauk Center High School, and I go to River of Life Church in Sauk Center. And yeah, I was one of the leaders of our Youth Alive, and I do golf. But
Awesome. Your Youth Alive Bible study.
yes.
Yes. Awesome. Cool. Okay, Caden, tell us about you.
Yeah, my name, like she said, is Caden St. John. I'm a senior this year, or at Lakeville North High School. And growing up, I played hockey all throughout high school. The 2 churches that I go to when I'm home, I go to River Valley. But when I get here because this is just what it's felt like home, you know? And this is where all my family is, and my dad's now, we came out yesterday, my dad's now taking over the church, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome
So-
vote. We're here at River of Life in Cold Spring. For those who don't know, we gathered at River of Life. We're using their space.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yes. Okay, Enoch.
Yeah, my name is Enoch, and I go to Melrose High School. It's just down the street from Sauk Center from Lauren.
Down the street.
Down the street.
8-minute drive.
Yeah.
I also go to River Life Church, and I led Youth Alive Bible Study, which kind of morphed into FCA. More people go to FCA on Fridays. And I did track, soccer, and wrestling in high school. Kind of dropped soccer and wrestling, and focused on track. And then I'm going to North Central next year, which is...
Yeah.
Nice.
We're all going to North
Yeah,
Central.
we're all-
Yes, we
North
have a
Central.
lot of North Centralians. Is that how you say it?
Sure.
And see you soon to be. Okay, cool, awesome. All right, so just before we could dig into kind of what the last 4 or 6 years have looked like for you guys, we're gonna ask some fun questions, get to know each of you. Okay, so the first question I have for you, and I think this is a fun one, what is your favorite school lunch, or what has been your favorite school lunch over time? Who wants to go first?
All right. So, I don't love school lunch. I'm not a huge fan of
Ooh.
it. But every time I walk into school, whenever it's country fried steak, I get pretty excited. It's a good day. Some days I even get seconds. But I say the best thing that our school has is their yogurt. Their yogurt. They have yogurt like parfait or whatever it's called. You know, where they get yogurt and strawberries. I have it every day. It's the best thing I've ever had in my entire life. And
Wow.
I literally asked our lunch lady last week, what's the name of that brand? Where can I get it? And she found the brand, but you can only buy it in bulk and from Walmart for $100. I'm like, are you kidding me? But no, that's probably my two favorite things from school.
Katie's gonna show up at NCU with like $100 case of yogurt.
That's what his mini fridge is going to be filled with.
So, you guys want some yogurt? I got some to share.
I have nothing else, but I got yogurt.
All right, Lauren, what about you?
I feel like the pizza is like one of the only good things,
The pizza.
but it's really greasy. But like it's like Casey's pizza almost. I don't know.
Wow.
Otherwise, if we have like chicken, that's just always a safe bet, and I'll make like a salad or I don't know. That's just like the safest thing. I'm not scared to eat.
Are you scared to eat most lunch food?
I'm scared for some of it. It's gross. It's really bad.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Enoch, what about you?
I don't know. It's a hard choice because all of our school lunch is good. Not all of it, but there's this rice dish. It's kind of like fried rice with like chicken and stuff on it. It's like an Asian dish. I don't know. They serve it and it's actually really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Second question before we get more off topic. What has something special you've really enjoyed about your senior year?
We did like senior sunset and senior sunrise. So like at the beginning of the year, before the first day of school, we all woke up early and went out on the football field and watched the sunrise. And then like one of the last days of school, we went and watched the sunset on the football field. And I don't know, I feel like our whole grade just like gets along better because it's the last year.
So this year I've done something I've never done before. Egg a house.
Oh no.
Not like the egg you think it is. The egging a house, the way we do it at least, is we take a singular egg, we crack it open and leave it on their front porch, and then we will run away. That's it.
Like, is it like a big egg?
No,
or
it's just a regular egg. We crack it on their front porch and leave it there. And then, yeah.
Are we gonna have the
Or
cops
same
show
with,
up? Is this
same
like a
with TPing
confession?
someone's
I'm
house.
just getting
we
this
leave it
picture in my head
bunker.
of him running up to the house and just.
I did it.
I did that on Friday.
Red Bull. Is it like other seniors?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Other senior's house.
Okay, Kaden, what about you?
I have loved my class schedule this year. I get to wake up at 11 o'clock if I want. And I get my school starts at like 11:17 or like
Wow.
11:05 depending on the day. And then just got to be at school then, only there for 2 hours and then I come home. And so that has been really nice just cuz you kind of have like a lot of freedom and
Yeah.
you're still in school, you still get to hang out with your buddies, but at the same time you also have a little bit more freedom and you get to
That's awesome.
it's not like much classes that you need to go to.
Yes.
Just classes that you're taking,
More freedom is nice in your
Yeah.
senior year, for sure. Okay, last one I have for you guys is, what is something you're looking forward to this summer before you head off to college? Enoch?
We have a mission trip coming up.
Ooh.
The end of June 22nd, we leave for El Salvador. El Salvador, and I'm actually really excited about that. Just hearing about it, what they did last year, because she went on it last
It's
year.
so fun.
It sounded
I've
like
been.
I'm
such
so
a good
excited.
opportunity, so I had to take the chance and go.
King's Castle, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Kaden, what about you?
I'm going on some trips with Micah to some camps. I'm really excited about that. I think that'll be really fun. And then in July, I'm really excited for this camp season because now that hockey's done, this is the one summer that like I get to be at all the camps.
Yeah.
So like I'll be at like every week of camp, and it's gonna be really fun. And
Because
also-
normally you're going back and
going
forth.
back and forth. Yeah, and so I'm excited for that. That'll be super fun. So
Cool. Just relax. Enjoy
Yeah.
it. Okay, Lauren, what about you?
I'm excited for like all the events. Like there's so much going on because we have camp and then we have El Salvador again. And then probably just like hanging out with my friends
Yeah.
because I mean, there's not that much time left. Like I have like 3 months? 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's
Crazy.
crazy to think about because it's gone by so fast already.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so let's dig in because I think every underclassman would love to sit down with a senior. Even like our middle schoolers would love to sit down with you guys and just like pick your brains for What worked? What didn't work? How did you do this for 6 years? Like, how did you stay following Jesus? How did you stay on fire for Jesus? How did you start a Bible study? How did you help with the Bible study? How do you stay strong in your faith on sports teams, different things like that? And so I just want to pick your brain, first of all, and just ask, like, if you could encapsulate the last 6 years, let's go middle school on up, how would you describe it? What has it been like? What has the journey been like for you guys?
So much changes from like middle school to high school. I moved, so my freshman year, not even my freshman year. My 7th grade year, I lived in Iowa, and then I moved back here my freshman year. And so I had to like make new friends. And then I made friends, and they didn't lead me closer to God. So then I had to make new friends, and then I had to make new friends again. And I don't know, I feel like finding your friends at church is so important. Like, you can be friends with non-believers, but it's just so much harder. So it's just hard to find friends that lead you closer to God. And I feel like I found my best friends at youth group and church events, so.
I love that. So having that core group
Yeah,
that really
for sure.
helps you and feeds you, and not feeds you, but helps you stay strong in your faith.
Yeah.
Encourages you. What about you, Caden?
Well, I think along the way, there's a lot of changes that happen. You know, you just see it even from high school on, and you look from middle school on. There's a lot of changes that you go through. I think that you mature a lot because of the things that you walk through and the things that you go through. So I think just change, like if I were to sum it up in one word, there's a lot of change that happens. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you're at, you cannot move schools, and still there's going to be a lot of change that happens. So whether it's with your friends, whether it's with the people you hang out with, whether it's classes that you take, your workload, there's just so much change that happens within every year. And it's just kind of cool to look back at your life and be like, man, look where I've come, you know?
Yep.
And if there's something that I could challenge every student with, that's walking in as a 6th grader, allow yourself to look back on middle school and high school when you're a senior and say, man, I've came a long way.
That's good.
You know?
good.
So,
Yeah.
I'd just say change, a lot of change.
Yeah.
Yep.
Enoch.
Yeah, kind of like Caden said, I changed a lot from middle school, even early high school, to now. I didn't know, I didn't have that, influence on me that pushed me closer to God, even in early high school. I just started to find people that, pushed me closer to Jesus, and it's always hard. It's not ever going to be easy, because even right now as a senior, I still struggle. Last week, when I was stressed out with all end of the year stuff, transcripts, doing all this stuff, I found myself not spending as much time with Jesus, and I felt like I talked to God still, and I told him I don't feel as close with you right now, and I think that those people, underclassmen, should just remember that it's not gonna necessarily get easier. It might even get harder, but you just gotta find those core people that influence you, that help you. Talk to those people, a youth pastor, anything like that. It'll definitely be helpful.
I love that. So you guys came in as 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders, wherever your faith journey really starts, where you feel like, I started owning my faith a lot more. What did your dreams look like then? And what you want to see God do at your school, in the lives of your friends, how you want to see God use you to today in your last senior year. How did those dreams transition, change, transform? What they look like? Caden.
I think that one dream that, man, ever since I've really made my faith serious, one dream that I've always had is, man, just lost people. I just want to watch my buddies give their life to Jesus. I just want to watch, So that's been kind of one of the dreams that I've had all throughout high school. And as I kind of got over the last few years, I had a dream man, I want to figure out what I can do to try to allow every student in my school to have a moment in the presence of God. Why? Because a moment, it can change everything. And so that's been one of my dreams, and kind of still working on that dream. But that's just a dream that I have. That's one prayer that I pray a lot is, God, I just pray that every student in our school could just encounter a moment in your presence. Why? Because a moment, it does change everything.
Yep.
So I would say that is kind of been one of the dreams that I have. But I think even more so than that, my hockey team, like those are the guys I'm close with. Those are the guys I'm hanging with like all hockey season. 3 months of the year, like we're together all the time.
Yeah.
And you take it even further than that, a lot of my hockey buddies are my best friends. And so when I look back at that, and when I look at my hockey season, and when I'm dreaming about the hockey season coming up, like I'm a senior, so I'm done, but like last year, like when I was looking at the hockey season coming up, I'm like, man, I just want my buddies to see Jesus. I just want them to see Jesus, to meet Jesus. And so that's just kind of been one of my dreams, is that my closest friends would encounter Jesus, you know?
Yep.
So
That's
yeah.
good. I love that.
I mean, I'm at that early stage, you know, when I just found Jesus and I just started taking it seriously. I never really looked at myself and I thought I could do all this. But looking back now, and now today, I'm like, God has used me in ways that I didn't even know I was used, even starting then. So just looking back at those moments and kind of like they remind me of like what God did in me.
Yeah.
So why can't He do more in me?
Yep.
Recently, God broke my heart for my family, like my close family, like my brothers, because they like started drifting away from Jesus, and they don't even know it. I mean, they still go to church and do all this stuff, but I see them at home a lot. You know, they're my siblings, and I see how they act there and at home, and I'm like, I'm praying, and I'm like, Jesus, this hurts me. Like I thought, and I looked up to them before because they used to have a super close relationship with Jesus, and now Jesus is breaking my heart for them because Jesus is hurting for them. So that's one thing that God's really been working in me lately.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
It's
I-
good.
Powerful.
I feel like in my school, there's a lot of people that you could say they're like on the fringe, but also they're off, like they're falling off of it and not falling in. Yeah.
You
And
wish they'd
so-
fall the other direction.
Yeah, they're falling this way, and I want them to fall this way. But so we started our Youth Alive to like try and just get everybody combined, because our town is very separated when it comes to churches, because a lot of the churches have bad influence on the others and they just don't like each other. And so you're trying to like create a unity in that aspect. But yeah, I feel like just going through all of high school, I would just see like the people that were broken, and I just wanted to reach them. And like looking back on it, I wish I would have done more. But I feel like that's always something that I'm gonna like
Yeah.
regret, is not doing more.
So you guys have talked a lot about having people coming alongside of you in the journey. You've talked about the friends that, man, you want to have friends who have moments. You have friends, you have family. And I think it's really, really hard in your own faith when you see someone who you've looked up to, who you have always seen as a person who's on fire for the Lord. And not that they're like turning away from God, but you see them struggling in their faith. And so I think that how do you take that, see that, and not let it affect your relationship with God? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Especially if there's someone you look up to who's almost been like, I don't know, just like your person that you're like, this is a person that I look to and am encouraged by. How do you not let that impact your own faith?
I feel like we have to acknowledge that there's like different parts of your faith walk, because personally, I feel like I've been in like a super like stagnant walk like right now. Like nothing's going super well, nothing's going like horrible. And I just feel like pretty And so like some of these people could be going through like the worst thing like you could ever think of, and that's why they're seeming so off. Or like life could be so good, and then they're not leaning on God like in the good. And so I feel like there's just so many different parts of our faith walk, and we just can't let other people's journeys get to us. I mean, we can help them and like lead them through it, but it's more harmful when you let it affect your journey, because their relationship with God isn't your relationship with God. Like it's your own relationship with God that you should be worrying about for sure. I mean, you want to help them, but sometimes it's just their own decision, and God gave us free will to make those decisions. So
Yeah, like everyone's on their own journey.
yeah.
I think that can be tough to not let it affect you, because I think a lot of times you're sitting there and you're like, man, like what's going on? Like it can be hard. But I'd say if anything, you almost want to let it affect you for the good. When you see your friends going down the right path, your prayer life should strengthen. When you see your friends doing things you wish they weren't doing, your prayer life should strengthen. And I'm not saying that like your prayer life shouldn't always be strong, but we should, as Christians, when we see our buddies and our friends going down the wrong paths, that should be the time where we pray for them. When we're like, okay, I need to start praying for that person. And so I'd say just don't let it affect you negatively, but let it affect you positively. And if you're looking at it like, man, this person's really been lacking in this area. Oh, well, what's my life look like in this area? You know, just allow those things not to affect you negatively, but only allow it to strengthen your relationship with God. And you'll watch as your relationship with God gets a lot further. Because we're all human and we all make so many mistakes. So when your friends are messing up, if you're praying, your prayer life's probably pretty good. You know?
That's good. I like it. Enoch, anything you want to add?
I mean, the couple times that it has happened, I feel like it's gotten to me a little bit, at least a little bit, because just seeing my mom or my brothers hurt is like, it brings me down, and I don't know. But one thing that I did notice that happened is in that moment when I did find out that they were struggling, the first thing that I did was pray. And I prayed for them, for their relationship with Jesus, and for anything that's going on in their life that I don't know about, you know?
Yeah.
Because my family, you know, isn't necessarily the closest family. We don't talk about things like maybe other families do. But I just pray for that, for our relationship to grow closer, and as that our relationship grows closer, that we go closer to Jesus, that we, you know, influence each other in such a way that, oh, we came from that, we were struggling, and now look at where we are at.
Yeah. So throughout the last, like, how many years, you guys have never felt alone as like a believer, have you? Have you ever felt like in school, like, I am the only one on this Jesus ship? Like, no one else here at my school, on my track team, you know, I'm the only one. So I'm sure we've all been there. So what's helped you not get stuck in that moment?
I think like even when I'm like surrounded by people, I'll be like with my best friends, and I'm like, they have no clue what the heck I'm going through right now. And then like in that moment, it's just like on me. I gotta like open up and tell people. I feel like when you feel alone, it's because you're not telling people how you feel and like what point of your journey you're in or what you're going through. And I don't know, being a Christian is wild because like there's so many people. Like you'll go to MIC and you'll see like all these people worshiping Jesus, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then you go from that high, and then like we'll go back to our hometown and it'll be like, okay, there's like 5 people here right now. Like, so it's so different. And I feel like just knowing and having those close friends by your side, like no matter what, really helps. Because, you know, you're never like truly alone, although you might be like in your head about it.
It's tough because there's a lot of people that, in my school at least, that say that, you know, they follow Jesus, that they go to church and do all this stuff, but then they're out on the weekend doing all this other stuff, and it's tough because I feel like it's everyone but me almost. And obviously there's people that, you know, I have this really good Catholic friend that's like super, like she's on fire for Jesus, and it's crazy. She gave me a book the other day on like miracles in the Catholic Church. Just seeing people like that I never thought would be close to Jesus, like this. I didn't know that this girl, my friend that I've been hanging out with for a little bit, I didn't know that she like, you know, went to church a lot and had a relationship with Jesus.
She has that relationship.
Yeah, and I guess that I wasn't looking in the right place. You So I started looking at people that I didn't think of, and I started inviting them to church and doing all this other stuff, and I don't know, it's just like, it's helped me, like, not just shifting my perspective.
I feel like you always hear people say, surround yourself with friends that lead you closer to Jesus and not further from Jesus. And that's so true. But I think that a lot of times you can hear that and you can be looking at your life and you're like, well, like, where are those friends? You know what I mean? And it can get really hard. And we as Christians, we do need godly community. Like, we do need godly community. Like, the church, it's so important. The friends in the church that you make is so important. Even if they're not your best friends, like, make them friends in your life that you constantly surround yourself with. Why? Because it's important for us as believers to continually surround ourselves with godly community. Otherwise, we'll never make it. And I think that just growing up through school, one of the things, like, I would often say this to a lot of people close to me. I'd just be like, man, one of the things that I really like desire is a good Christian friend that lives close to me, because I felt like all my good Christian friends were from this city, from that, and it's like, I just want one in my city where I can go and hang out with, where I can go talk with, where I can go. And I think that it is a real struggle for us as believers sometimes, finding good friends, because you walk in and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to hang out with that person, or like, I mean, that person's like really cool, like maybe I want to hang out with them, and it's just like, it's tough sometimes to find good Christian friends, but like when you do, it's so awesome. Like, it is so awesome. And I would just say that, I don't know, I just think that godly community is so important.
It is.
We can't ever forget about that. We can't ever forget about the importance of godly community.
Cool. I love your guys' answers, by the way. You're doing such an awesome job. But walking in to school, and even at the beginning of the school year to the end of the school year, you're like, this would be a win. This is what I want to see God do this year. And then you get to the end of the year and you're like, that did happen. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't happen. Something else happened. What would you say is something that you've been able to grab a hold of and say, this is a win? Like, if this can happen this year, this is a win. Because I think sometimes it's good to have big dreams. It's good to have big goals, okay? But sometimes we miss out on the small wins that get us to the next win and the next win and the next win. Otherwise, if we don't see those small wins, we miss out on. Like, we're like, oh, I'm giving up. I'm done. I'm throwing in the flag. So what are some small wins that you guys could say you've had happen over the last few years?
I think one win that really sticks out to me is over like the last like year and a half, I've watched like 12 or 13 of my hockey buddies give their life to Jesus, and that's just been something that I've been praying for a long time, is for them. But I think that what gets even cooler than that is not watching just them give their lives to Jesus, is now I'm watching as one of them specifically, his life is completely changed.
Wow.
And what's cool about it is you're watching as his life has changed, and now he's impacting his friends' lives. And so I'd say that is like a really cool win for me, because it's like, you're looking at it and it's like, man, it's not like just like that one time, but they're going out and now you're watching as he's changing his friends' lives. And then now what I think would be cool is now if that friend changes his friends' lives, and you just watch as it like spreads like wildfire. Why? All because a few group of guys got together and said, here's the deal, we're gonna live differently now. Our life is gonna look different. And now you watch as it spreads like wildfire. And so I don't know, I just feel like that is a cool win, because I think it's even cooler when you watch your lost buddies give their lives to Jesus, and then you watch their buddies give their lives to Jesus, because so I'm gonna break it down. That's an amazing thing. What were some small things that happened to see some of those students give their life to the Lord? Yeah, well, I think obviously you gotta love Jesus, and I think that it gets hard to love Jesus sometimes. And that's okay. That actually is a good thing. We should be able to love Jesus through hard times. And I just remember walking into the hockey locker room as coming into high school. And I remember there's these seniors, I'm sitting there, I'm a freshman, like sophomore, and I'm like these guys are kind of intimidating a little bit, but you're sitting there, and then like they would always like try to get me to do different things, look at different things, like say different things, go different places with them. But I just would constantly just respond with like, that's just not what I'm gonna do, you know? And to be honest, at times it gets really tough to do that, because when the temptation is thrown in your face, a lot of times it looks really good in the moment. It looks really pleasing in the moment. So it does get tough at times to say no to the temptations. But I think that if you can just continually, like I look at the early church in Acts, a lot of their salvations came outside of the church, which I find like really interesting.
Yeah.
But they weren't like weird about it. It wasn't like they were going around and they were like really weird about their faith. No, what they just did is they loved people well.
They just overflowed.
They overflowed. And I think that as Christians, it should overflow out of our lives, out of our own encounters with Jesus, out of our own moments in his presence. One of the things my mom said to me a while back was, Caden, you can't have, if your moments in the presence of God don't become movements, your moments were meaningless. And that really stuck with me. It's like, man, I want my moments to change me. And then when you just walk out and you live changed, like now I've watched this, over half those guys probably that came up to me and said, man, like that made fun of me for what I believed, because a lot of guys would make fun of me throughout the process for not doing different things, for not going different places. But what was cool about it is now like over half those guys have come back up to me and said, Caden, I really wish I had what you had. Why? Because what do they see in my life? I hope that they see Jesus. You know what I mean? So like that's the thing. And now you've watched as it changes them. Why? All just because you love people. And I think I've learned that from my dad and my mom growing up, is they just love people.
Yeah.
And if we can love people, like that's what Jesus did. Jesus loved people. And so if we can love people, people love to be loved. People love to be seen. So if we can love people, if we can care for people, we'll watch as they'll say, man, there's something different about that guy, because not many people love and not many people love well.
Yeah.
So if we love well and show them what Jesus' love looks like, we'll watch as they'll be like, man, there is something different and I need to figure out what it is.
Well, I just want to say this. I think the amazing part is seeing 12 to 13 people come to know Jesus from your hockey team. But I think the piece of gold that we just uncovered is the win is like every single day following Jesus. And that is hard. That's really hard, to be that same consistent person every single day, and to not let what other people say, how they view you, let it affect your faith in Jesus. And you know, like I think that's the win, is like standing up for your faith every day. And it doesn't have to be like this weird crazy, like, you know, like I love Jesus in your face type person, but just that consistency every single day. That's a win in our lives, is to be that person every single day. And that itself is a very hard task, is to be that consistent.
I don't know. I've had two big ones this year that really stuck with me. Not that long ago, my mom she was struggling with like depression and anxiety, all this stress, because my dad passed away a couple years ago, and she's been like on her own trying to support me and my younger brother, and dealing with all this stuff. And my younger brother is dealing with depression and anxiety, and it's tough. And not that long ago, I saw her break down, and like she was ready to give up, and like she was talking to me and my older brothers. We were all there just trying to comfort her, and she was saying that that her walk with Jesus was too hard, that she didn't want to do it anymore. And it hurt me real bad. And we were there and we were talking for a while, and in the end we were all my brothers were like, let's just pray for her. And we prayed for my mom, and we were there breaking down. And it was such a beautiful moment, because at the end of it we were like, all right, let's do better then. Let's just, you know, we got to learn from this stuff. Like, and my mom, she's back at it, and me and my younger brother, we pray with her every night, and we read one psalm every night with her.
Wow.
That's cool.
Just seeing where that came from, when she was struggling, we prayed for her, and we're seeing God move.
That's cool.
It's really
It's
good.
good. From school to the family, right? It's everywhere. What's your other one?
I have this friend. He graduated with me. childhood buddy. I grew up with him, went to elementary school with him, and I always invited him to youth group. This last year and earlier this year, but recently, actually not that long ago, he like started getting into like satanic stuff, and it was scary. Like he researched all this stuff. He wore a necklace to school with like, I don't know, like a goat man or something, or what's it?
I don't know.
But it was like it
It's
looked
getting weird.
demonic. It looked demonic. And he did all this stuff, and he was telling us about it, and I was like, dang, that's scary, man. I don't mess around with that stuff. And I remember before that stuff started to happen, I still invited him to youth group, and then after I was still inviting him to youth group. And one night he came to youth group, well, with a whole bunch of my friends. That's the only way he would come. And I feel like him going to youth group that day like planted a seed, and not necessarily he stopped messing around with that stuff. And I don't think that was because he went to youth group, but I thought that was really cool that in the midst of that, like he was in the middle of like messing around with all that stuff, he still went to youth group. And I thought that was cool that he went to youth group during that. Then he might go to church with me some other time, you know?
That's cool.
You know, I've talked about like planting seeds, and I feel like there haven't been any like super crazy things that have happened really in my high school years, like people coming to know Jesus because of me. But I feel like I'm like seeing the seeds that have been planted, because at my grad party 2 weekends ago now, I put my Bible out and some like note cards, and I was like, just leave a verse and like a note and like some wisdom for me. And one of my friends, or like from high school, she highlighted this verse, and it was about being a light to the world.
That's cool.
And she was like, just keep being light. And it just sort of hit me, and I was like, I didn't realize that I was making that much of a difference in other people's lives, because like, I feel like no matter the circumstance, like we just have to be consistent in our faith. And like we can be real, and we can be like, yeah, I'm struggling right now, but like being like real and like happy and just like a genuine person like pays off so much.
I love it.
In our lives. But
I love it. I love how all three of you are very different in your personalities, in the schools you go to, in just what you've seen God do, your backgrounds, your families, your faith journeys. This is where I want to end it, guys, because we don't have much more time. You're leaving high school, leaving that mission field. Now you look to the future. What are some dreams you want to see God do in your life? You could say through you, but what are some dreams you have that you want to see God do in the next couple of years?
just like dialing in on like my calling, because I know I've been called, but I just don't know what to yet. And so I feel like just like trusting God in every step, and not forcing my influence into it, because I feel like ever since I've been even thinking about the future, there's been like doors that'll close and then doors that'll open, and like it's just crazy how like things have happened. And so I feel like just like putting myself out there, but not forcing it, and not like forcing what I want to happen, because what I want to happen is probably not lining up with what God's plan is for me, even though it could miraculously like line up. But I don't know, just like really trusting God with like everything.
At the end of the school year, there's a lot of these other students next to me. They're talking about like what their future plans are, like what they want to get into, business, finance, whatever it is, or being a teacher. And I just kind of started overthinking. I was like, well, how am I gonna make a living in ministry? Because being an adult is hard.
You know?
And I saw this post on Instagram not that long ago, how much money you needed to make to survive. And I was like, what? That's stressful. And I don't know, just all that stress got to me, and then I started thinking and praying, and I was like, maybe I just need, to let God, make a way, and like, trusting God, because I read all these books and stories of these guys that like that are missionaries and go and leave everything behind, and they go into all these countries that doesn't accept Christianity, and that's scary. Like, I wanna be in a relationship so close to Jesus that I'm willing to go into another country where I could die, and I don't want to worry about all that other stuff. Being an adult, I want to focus on my relationship with Jesus first of all, and then everything else will come. Everything Jesus will provide, God will provide.
I think that I'm just really excited for this next season, because one of the things that I love is I love learning about Scripture, and learning just in general different things. And I think that this season, what a dream that I have is I want to grow in this next season, in just in every way. And I want to get knowledge, and I think that this next season, these next few years of college are going to be huge. And I'm excited for that, just for a personal goal of mine, just to grow spiritually, to grow in my knowledge, to grow in my relationships, just to grow in every aspect of life, and especially spiritually. I'm excited for just that next season, and just to see what happens in the end. So that's a dream of mine over the next few years.
That's so cool. I love it. I love it all, you guys. You're so good. I have to say, every single year when we graduate seniors, I start looking through the list, and I'm like, oh, they're leaving too. Oh, no, that one's gone also. And I'm like, who is left? And then I look at the list, and I'm like, God always knows that even though there's seniors leaving, there's juniors that are coming up, there's sophomores that are coming up, there's freshmen that are coming up, 8th graders and sophomores. And when I see new 6th graders that are on fire for Jesus, I'm like, I have no idea what you're going to look like as a senior, but this is amazing already. And so it's sad to see you guys move on, but it's also very exciting to see where God's going to take you and use you. And we're going to be praying for you as Youth Alive. We always do with our seniors. And we hope that you just enjoy the summer, relax, have fun before you head off to college. And we'll see you guys at camp and stuff like that. Okay? Thanks for being with us today. Students, thanks for listening. Hope you learned a little bit from these seniors and had fun with them. And we will see you at camp this summer. We'll also see you at our July podcast. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Minnesota Youth Alive podcast. Remember, you can download the Minnesota Youth Alive app and check us out on Instagram and Facebook for updates and information.